One thing we already touched on is loyalty. You need loyal people. You need loyal athletes. I think you got to make it fun. As an educator, you got to be able to teach, but the kids got to feel comfortable coming into your classroom to learn. And part of that is discipline, and you got to be able to have fun. You got to know where the line is. Responsibility. Wrestling as a sport is the winter sports are the worst thing to coach because you have winter to start with, as the weather we've had. School's canceled. You got to wait till noon to see if you can have practice because of safety. 2, kids they're out of their time management program of going to school and then going to practice. Now they're at home and they have to get to practice while mom and dad is working, so they have to figure out a way how to get there. So you got to teach them accountability. You got to teach them respect. You got kindness. I was on a recruiting visit with my son at Muskingum University, and the baseball coaches were like, we have an open door policy. And I'm thinking, I asked him, I said, what does that mean? Every coach should have an open door policy. And he says, no, everybody thinks that, but all of our baseball players, when they get to the door, they have to open it and hold it until the last person walks through. And I thought, wow, that's pretty good. And they're like, that's why we're the most respected program at our university, because just of that one act of kindness that we do every day, it makes us, look good as a program, but it's teaching these young men how to be real men. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was, I try to have implemented that this past year with our kids. I try to talk about that in my classroom about just doing one random act of kindness, and be consistent at it. So those are some things that you have to do. And, another thing I believe in, a guy taught me this a long time ago by the name of Larry Shank from Heidelberg University, is if you kick them in the butt, by the time they leave, you got to pat them on the back. And that's the number one rule that I try to follow when, as I call it, coaching loudly, if it's whatever sport it is. Mm-hmm.